What's going on with Ben Simmons this season? Let's get into this. Ever since Ben Simmons was drafted first overall in the 2016 NBA draft by the Sixers, everybody knew this guy was going to be a superstar in this league. In Ben Simmons' rookie season, he wasn't able to play due to an injury that held him out the whole season, but in the next season, which was technically Ben Simmons' rookie season, he ended up winning the Rookie of the Year that year. In that 2017 NBA season, Ben Simmons really flashed that superstar potential that he had. To see why I personally think that Ben Simmons is such a special talent and a superstar in this league, let's take his game point by point to see why. First, let's start out with Ben Simmons' finishing ability. Ben Simmons has a ton of things going for him in terms of being a very good finisher just off his physical skills. So first, obviously he's 6'10 and he plays point guard, so that gives him a pretty big advantage at that perspective. And on top of that, he's super athletic as well. That also gives him a big advantage getting to the basket and finishing over people when he gets to the basket. And obviously he has a pretty long wingspan, which also helps him finish around guys. Even though Ben is not known for being a scorer in this league, he definitely knows how to get to the basket and use his body in ways to get easier buckets when getting to the basket. And as I said before, Ben is very athletic in this league, and he has a bunch of posterizing dunks over defenders and even guys who are very good defensively. In terms of his scoring ability, Ben Simmons' best ability is definitely getting to the basket and finishing around the basket. But moving on to the next point, and the point that I really think makes Ben Simmons a superstar in this league, is his passing and playmaking ability. Now, as I touched on before, Ben Simmons plays point guard at that 6'10 size for the Sixers that gives him some natural advantages. Now, obviously the opposing teams aren't putting point guards on Ben Simmons. That just wouldn't be fair, of course, but either way, being at that 6'10 size, you obviously still have advantages even when going against guys at a similar height to you. Now, the obvious, Ben Simmons is taller than most point guards, obviously at that 6'10 size, so he could see over defenders easier and get the ball to open teammates easier as well, which is kind of the obvious. But another reason why I think that 6'10 size really helps him out is a lot of times he stays in the high post and just stays there and analyzes the defense and see where the open guy is. And I think that's such a benefit to both Ben and the Sixers, because when you're in the high post, you're more of a threat to get to the basket and score, so the defense really has to pay attention to you more than if Ben Simmons was on that three-point line where he struggles, of course. But it's also easier for Ben to throw to the wide open cutting guy to the basket for an easy layup or dunk. The fact that Ben Simmons is at that 6'10 size really helps him out tremendously. But the fact that Ben Simmons is such a great passer isn't only due to the fact that he's 6'10. He's obviously just a very good passer and has very special abilities when it comes to his passing ability. Now, first, obviously because he's 6'10, he easily gets defensive rebounds and quickly chucks the ball up to a wide open guy for an easy layup on the fast break. But he could easily also get the rebound and push the ball by himself down the floor and put pressure on the defense and pass the ball to a wide open teammate that way as well. But especially in the half court, you can really see how special Ben is in terms of his passing and playmaking. He has so many abilities that barely any players have in the league. Now, as I mentioned for a few guys before, like LaMelo, kind of Lonzo as well, LeBron especially, Chris Paul, there's very few guys like this, but all those guys have the ability to see the play before they happen, and Ben Simmons is no different in that regard. When you just watch Ben out there, you see him throw passes before his teammates are even there yet, and by throwing those passes early, it makes that teammate get an easy layup before the defender could even get there. The fact that Ben Simmons is such a great playmaker and passer in this league is the reason why I think the Sixers have been winning a ton ever since Ben Simmons got drafted to them. Now let's move on to another part of Ben Simmons' game, which isn't his best. Obviously it's his worst part, and that's of course his shooting ability. It's been very well known that Ben Simmons is not only a really bad three-point shooter, but he also has no confidence in it and is actually scared to shoot the three ball. And the fact that Ben Simmons completely has no confidence and is scared to shoot the three ball out there may be worse than anything else. When you look at Ben Simmons' actual form out there, it's not terrible. It's a little wide on his shooting hand. His elbow is a little too wide out there, which is okay for some players, but it's a little too wide, I think, personally. But either way, there's been some players in the NBA that have a decent percentage with a little bit of a different shot and a little bit of an odd shot, so it's not necessarily the worst thing ever. He just has to continue to work on it and get his confidence level up in his jump shot, and then I think he'll be fine. I don't think Ben Simmons is ever going to be near a good shooter from three-point range, and I don't think he needs to, by the way, either. He's been a superstar with no jump shot whatsoever from three-point range, so if he gets somewhat of a decent jump shot, or at least a threat of him hitting that jump shot from three-point range, I think that would really open up his game and make him that much of a better player. And that's something I really think he should continue to work on, and he has been. He's so similar to a player like Giannis, who's so prolific at getting to the basket, but they really have no jump shot whatsoever. So if they get even somewhat of a decent 3-point jump shot, that would really complete their game and make them such a great player in this league. But even if they don't have that jump shot, there's still great players in this league. So it's really, if they get that jump shot, it just takes them to that another level. Ben Simmons is definitely a superstar either way, but unfortunately this season, Ben Simmons' numbers have been down across the board, and that leads you to the question, what happened to Ben Simmons this season? I don't think this is necessarily something that Sixers fans should completely panic over and think that Ben Simmons is really declining at this point. I don't think that's the case whatsoever. I think it's more of a case that Doc Rivers just came in as a head coach this year, and Ben Simmons just adjusting to that. I think the more years that Ben Simmons plays under Doc Rivers and the more comfortable he gets, the more he'll be back to where he was before and get even better. And that's only talking about the offensive end. Defensively, Ben Simmons is probably one of the top guys in the Defensive Player of the Year voting. He's been so amazing defensively this season. Ben has always been a really good defender throughout his whole career, just due to the fact that A, he's 6'10", he's super athletic, and he can move his feet extremely well on defense, and he has long arms, of course, and great defensive IQ. All those things combined to becoming a very good defender. But this season, he really took it to the next level, and he's really locking down the opposing team's best player every single night. On top of defending the paint, for his size is pretty crazy, and his position is pretty crazy that he's able to do that at such an efficient and high level. But he's also very smart on the defensive end, and he gets so many steals based off that. Defensively, Ben is such a complete player, and he's going to be a great defender for years to come for sure. I have no doubt about that. And offensively, I think he's going to be fine. He's already an insanely great passer in this league. I don't know how much better he can get in that sense, but you would think that over time he would get even a little better, and his finishing ability is already very, very good in this league. He's very prolific at getting to the basket. You just want to see that 3-point jump shot improve a little bit over time, and I think it will. And although Ben's numbers are definitely down across the board this season, I really don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think it's something to really be worried about for his career going forward. I think it's just a player going into a new situation in terms of a new head coach with a new system, and it's just going to take him at least a year or two to get used to it and really get back to where he was before and even get better. And when you also take into account the fact that all the restrictions that's going on right now and all the training camp that was canceled and all those other things, it obviously is going to take a little time for him to get used to a new system. So I don't think that's too much of an issue, and I don't think it's something to really worry about. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think Ben Simmons is in trouble and his career is in trouble after he's been playing this season? Or do you agree with me and think Ben Simmons is fine long term and he'll get better as time goes on in this new system? But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. Until the next time, peace out, guys.